Welcome to the wonderful world of Lunn Learning, a new and exciting way for children to learn about nature, wildlife and conservation through stories. The first is an adventure story called The Squirrel. Chapter 5, The Meeting of Minds. Red, Whiskers and Stick were standing around the stump.
"So what's the plan?"
asked Whiskers, excited by it all. Stick slowly raised a front paw and said,
"We must wait. We must wait for her ladyship."
As he lowered his paw to clutch onto the tree stump again, there was a rustling sound behind them. They all turned, and she was standing there before them. They all stared. Was this her ladyship? Was it really her? Where was her sleek and shiny fur coat? Where were her beautiful nails? "Greetings, everyone," she spoke softly. It was the same posh voice. They were the same flashing eyes. Yes, it was her ladyship, but she looked so different. "It is rude to stare," she announced, as she adjusted a headband she had made from ivy. She took her place at the stump, and then they all turned to look at Stick.
"Are you listening carefully?"
Stick asked. They all nodded and stood still in silence. Stick knew he had their attention, and so he raised his head high and started to speak in a loud, clear voice.
"This meeting is to discuss how we're going to get our forest back. We are here to discuss how we're going to get rid of those grey squirrels."
Stick was standing upright. His eyes were screwed up tightly, and he had a powerful look about him. Everyone respected Stick. He was old and wise and always right. They all listened carefully, hoping that Stick would tell them exactly what they were going to do.
"We need a plan. We need a battle plan,"
Stick announced.
"Hear,
"Hear, hear," the others all said together. Stick was encouraged by their positive attitude, and so he continued.
"I am your general. I do all the general planning. Red is your colonel. Colonel Red shall be in charge during the operation. Everyone shall obey his commands without question."
Her ladyship slowly turned her head to look straight at Red. He tried not to notice, but he felt her eyes flash at him. He went hot, and his tummy fluttered. She turned back and continued listening to Stick.
"Major Whiskers shall be in charge of signals,"
Stick continued.
"He is an expert whistler. Everyone must listen for his calls and follow his signals without question."
Whiskers twiddled the few remaining whiskers he had, and he looked very pleased. He stood to attention and saluted General Stick, and then saluted Colonel Red. Stick gave a quick nod to Whiskers, then continued.
"I shall now describe what—"
"Excuse me, General Stick," interrupted her ladyship.
"Yes, ma'am?"
"What shall my role be in this operation?"
"Well, ma'am, I didn't think—"
"You did not think," she interrupted. "Tut, tut, General Stick. You think of everything." She paused to give him time to think. After a short while, he gave a little cough to clear his throat and then said,
"I beg your pardon, ma'am. You are Secretary of State."
"A secretary? You consider me to be a secretary?"
"No, ma'am."
"Then I shall have a different role to that. I request you think of a better one with a better title. In the meantime, let us get down to business. Titles are merely that, titles. It is what one does that matters. So what are we going to do, General Stick? Stick cleared his throat again, and he continued.
We are all starving, and we are all suffering from ill health. Why? Because our food has been stolen. Why? Because grey squirrels are eating it. Why? Because they have invaded our forest in vast numbers. Is this correct, Colonel Red?
Red nodded.
Pardon? I didn't hear you, Colonel Red.
Sir, yes, sir, he answered, standing to attention. Stick was pleased, and so he continued.
We must chase the grey squirrels away so that we can return to the way things were before they invaded.
Stick raised his paws and looked up to the sky with a fierce look on his face.
We need to live in our forest and eat our food, and we all need to live happily ever after.
Stick seemed angry, very angry indeed. After a few deep breaths, Stick calmed down and slowly looked at Red, then Whiskers, then her ladyship. He cleared his throat and said,
That is what needs to be done. Now we must discuss how it will be done. I open the floor for discussion.
Whiskers shrieked and jumped up onto the tree stump.
What on earth is wrong with you, Major Whiskers?
Stick demanded.
You're opening up the floor, Whiskers cried. I don't want to fall into it.
No, 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 said Red with a calm voice as he looked up at Whiskers trembling on the stump. General Stick meant that we can all talk freely about our ideas of how to chase the grey squirrels away.
Oh, why didn't he say that?
Asked Whiskers with a puzzled look on his face. Well, it's... Red couldn't explain. Her ladyship looked up at Whiskers and smiled a warm and gentle smile. Then she spoke to Whiskers in a way that nobody else had ever heard before. I can explain it to you later, Whiskers, dear, when this wretched battle is over and we are warm and well and we can get on with our lives. Come down and stand by me, my dear. You are quite safe. Whiskers bowed graciously and clambered down off the tree stump. He stood beside her. She placed her paw on his paw and gave it a gentle squeeze to reassure him that all was well. He breathed a big sigh of relief. You may continue, General Stick, she commanded. Written and narrated by Fiona Lunn. Recorded by Tony O'Malley. Produced by Guy Benoist. Illustrations by Sarah Westaway.